All right, before we jump in, we've got to get the important disclaimer out of the way. Just remember, this is all for educational purposes, okay? It is not financial advice.
And it's super important to know that DeFi can be a really high-risk space. I mean, you can lose money from all sorts of things, like wild price swings, getting liquidated, bugs in the smart contracts, or even failures in the bridges that connect all these different networks.
Okay, so with all those risks on the table, what do we even mean by passive income? You hear this term thrown around constantly, and honestly, it's pretty misunderstood. So let's nail down what it actually is. First things first, passive income is not zero effort. That's a huge myth. The whole point, really, is that it's income you earn without having to do daily active work. But that's after you've done the initial work to get the system up and running. You're probably already familiar with this from the traditional finance world, things like getting rent from a property, earning stock dividends, or just interest from a savings account. Well, in DeFi, you have really similar cash flows, but here's the twist. Instead of banks and brokers, everything's run by automated smart contracts. Okay, now we're getting to the real heart of this whole thing. If you want to get around in DeFi safely and, make smart choices, there is one key mental model you have to use. It sounds simple, but trust me, it's super powerful. And here it is. Every single bit of yield has a source. That's it. If you're earning a return, that money is coming from somewhere. It's not magic. It doesn't just pop into existence. And in DeFi, it almost always boils down to one of four main sources. So what are they? Well, you've got network inflation rewards. That's basically new tokens being created to secure the network. Then there are trading fees, which come from people swapping assets. You've also got interest paid by borrowers, just like a regular loan. And finally, there are protocol incentives, which are just rewards the platform gives you to get you to use it. Look, understanding where your money is coming from, it's the absolute most important part of managing your risk. Why? Because if you can't point to the source and explain it, you don't really understand what's happening. And that means you're flying blind, just taking on risk without even knowing it. This brings us to a really fundamental rule for this whole space. If you can't explain it, don't do it. Simple as that. It's also a pretty good rule of thumb that the higher that APY, or annual percentage yield, looks, well, the higher the risk you're almost certainly taking. Think about it. If your yield is from protocol incentives, what does that mean? It means you're probably getting paid in some brand new, super volatile token that could be worth way less tomorrow. Or what if it's from trading fees? That income stream could completely disappear overnight if everyone decides to pull their money out of the pool. See, the source tells you what the risk is. So all of this should really change how you look at things. If you're in this for the long haul and want to stay safe, your goal can't just be chasing the biggest, craziest APY number you see. No, the real goal is to pick a source of yield that you actually truly understand. And from there, you focus on managing the risks you can actually control. That's how you make smart, informed decisions in this space. So in our next explainers, we're going to take this exact mental model and apply it to specific strategies, things like staking, yield farming, and lending. And we'll always keep this core idea, risk, reward, and source, right at the center of the conversation.